Hi there, we're at CandyMachines.com today, and what we want to talk about today are the new locker boxes that go on the mini cranes. So we'll talk about kind of what is a locker box and how to install them. There's going to be a couple different generations, especially for those who are purchasing just locker boxes to go onto their existing minis. And there's a couple different methods out there, and depending on, like I said, your generation. If you have the first generation with the original lighted header, you're going to see there's no bracket here. You have all these screws holding this back plate on. What you'll need to do to remove this is remove these screws. This back plate will come off. There's 4 other screws holding this lighted header to the top here. So you'll undo those 4 screws, disconnect the quick disconnect, and remove the header. If you have generation number 2, you'll have this bracket. It's going to be a little easier than the first one to remove, but overall none of them are going to be extremely difficult. On this one, you're going to remove these 2 screws here. Simply lift it up, undo the quick disconnect, and that'll remove your existing header. Now, either of these 2 generations will have this wall mounting bracket, and that's what this is for, basically to secure it to a wall. Right now it's going to be bolted below the top, but what we're going to do is actually move this bracket up. So this bottom hole will be mounted right here, and this bracket will set up above the top of the machine, just like this. So we're just going to move that bracket up, and then on the newest locker boxes, we have mounting holes on the back of your locker box. So if you have mounting holes on the back of your locker box, what you're going to want to do is raise this bracket up and use those mounting holes. They'll just line up and you'll mount it right there. Now, if you're retrofitting or adding this to an existing machine, this is going to anchor it to the back. You probably want to, or may want to, drill one small hole and provide an additional anchor point if you're adding this to an existing machine. It's optional, it's up to you. It is secured on the back, but if you want an additional anchor point, you would have to drill a hole on any retrofit. If you're buying this new with the locker box, there's going to be additional mounting holes on the top of the machine, and you can take your screwdriver and secure it internally. You know, it provides us, you know, an anchor point internally, which is secure, so there's no way to remove it unless you're inside of the locker box. But if you're adding it to an existing machine, you're going to have to make that decision on whether or not you want to provide that anchor point on the front of the machine as well. So that's kind of the 3 different generations that we've had. And if you're adding this to an existing one, sort of what you'll need to do to install the locker box. We try to make it as easy as possible to retrofit these. And by utilizing this existing bracket, just moving it up, it makes it really quick and easy in that regard. And just depending on which generation you have, there may be a couple additional steps on removing that existing header. Now, let's talk about a little bit of what is a locker box. So the intention behind the locker box, especially with these mini cranes, when you're dealing with, you know, 2-inch items, very small items, is to have the ability to have a major prize in the game. So the claw is restricted by size. It's only going to ever grab an item 2.5 inches, maybe 3, just depending on the item. But in most cases, it's going to be about 2 inches. So what you do is you've got a 2-part key here. And by a 2-part key, this first part of the key, you actually put this inside of a capsule or attach it to a prize that goes inside of the game. And what happens when the person wins that capsule with this part of the key in it, it allows them to open the locker box and get that major prize. It's a really cool concept. And in this case, they would just pull that out. And then you can see it basically just acts as a lighted header at that point until you get a chance to go in there and reset it. Now you'll notice this part of the key is stuck in there. It's not going to come out. And the reason that is the operator has the second part of the key, which goes inside of there and allows you to reset that whole lock and add an additional prize in there. So it's a really cool concept. You know, it's testing, it's gone really well. If you don't want to do a major prize, you can just leave it like that. Have a, it's just traditionally like, you know, the Miniware has a lighted header. But, you know, in most cases, we're going to find that people do want to add that major prize capability to the machine. So that's kind of a little quick overview of what is a locker box and how to do an install, whether you're buying it new, basically from December 12th of 2022 forward. It'll be this style with the mounting holes on the back. And if you buy just a locker box for your existing machine, you'll have those mounting holes on the back as well. And then just kind of the two earlier generations and how that header was mounted and what you would need to do to retrofit your existing Mini to add the kind of an upgrade to it to a locker box. That's a quick overview. We'll have plenty more videos coming that discuss a little bit more about the locker box and some of the other new features that we have going into the Minis and some of our other cranes. So be sure to check out everything on CandyMachines.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, give us a call. Thanks. Have a great day.